Hi, my name's Andy Sykes. I'm an award-winning animator and illustrator based in the UK. Welcome to my lessons on Flash CS5. This is my website, hexjibber.com. You can check out my animation, my illustration, my interactive work, and also more of my video tutorials in Flash. Enjoy! Hi there. I thought in this lesson we'd take a look at the 3D transform tool, which is new in Flash CS4 and CS5. You can only use it with movie clip symbols, and you can only animate it using the new tweens. So let's take a look. First off, we need to create a movie clip. So first off, I'm going to draw a shape like so. There's a square. I'm going to create a movie clip. So instead of graphic, I need a movie clip. I'm going to call that square. Now we've got a movie clip, we can edit this in 3D space. You'll notice that when I click on it, we've got position and size, 3D position and view. So this is where we can numerically change the Z depth of our object. So let's click on our 3D rotation tool. And see, when we click on that, we get these circles on our object. And they control the different axes in 3D space. This one round the edge, that controls X, Y, and Z all at the same time. So if I use that, I can spin it around all three axes at once. And you'll notice that it's not made this square into a cube. 3D rotation tools in Flash don't create 3D objects. They just rotate 2D objects in 3D space. So if you're wanting to make something actually 3D, you'd have to use a 3D program. But this is a good way of moving around 2D objects in 3D space. You can see if I hover over the red bar here, I get an X. That means I've got control over the X-axis. So if I use the red bar, I just control the X-axis and none of the others. Equally, if I hover over the green one, I get the Y-axis. You can see I've got a little Y cursor there. I can spin my movie clip around the Y-axis. The easiest way to control this is, instead of going sort of left and right on this bar, which makes controlling it a bit difficult, if you click on the green bar and just circle around the center point, that's the best way of controlling this axis. And this blue one here, that's the Z axis. So if we circle around using that, that's how we control our Z axis. So that's 3D rotation. What about moving it around in 3D space? Well, you'll notice that with our 3D rotation tool, we've got a little black corner there, which means we've got extra options. So if we hold that down, we can choose the 3D translation tool. This is for moving things in 3D space. And you can see we've got control over Y, X, and Z, or Z, as I should say, being British. And you can move them around by selecting an arrow and holding down the left mouse button. So with the Z axis or the Z axis, you can move it back and forth in 3D space, left and right with the Y axis, and up and down with the X axis. So let's have a go at animating some of this. If I go to frame 70 and insert a frame, remember you can only use the new motion tweens with 3D rotation, you can't use classic tweens. If I create a motion tween, in my first frame, I think I'm going to move my square over here and shove it into the distance. You can edit the positions in the properties dialog here as well as with the arrows. So you can see I could edit the Z axis here, like that, and also X and Y. See, X controls left and right, Y controls up and down. And then I'm going to go to my last keyframe, and I think I'm going to use the controls here to shove my symbol into the foreground and also move it into a different position. really I want it to be a bit close to the camera, like so. It takes a bit of getting used to handling things in 3D space. So let's play that through. You can see we've got our shape moving from the background to the foreground in actual 3D space. So it's not just like scaling something, it actually applies perspective and other things that you'd expect to see with 3D. But perhaps on my last keyframe I use the 3D rotation tool to actually rotate my symbol around a bit, like that, so that when I play it through it also rotates it in 3D space, like a card flying through the air. And with this I can apply presets in the motion editor as well, like I would with any other tween using the new tweens. And you can see I've got control over all three of my axes in my basic motion there. Just collapse that so I can get access to the eases. I'll try putting spring on and applying that to my basic motion there. See what that looks like. So you can see we've got our animation springing back and forth in 3D space. So that's the 3D rotation and translation tools. Have a go yourself, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hi, if you enjoyed this lesson, why not consider checking out the hexjibber colouring and activity book on my website, hexjibber.com. It's suitable for kids and adults alike, and you can get it from Amazon, Play.com and WH Smith's. Cheers.